wrapping up this Genright Elite JK build. It's been a long run. We probably have 9 months or so into this, give or take, time between. And we're finally getting toward the end. This thing will be delivered next week to Genright in Simi Valley for the customer to see. We pretty much got free reign on this thing. It's been gutted completely front to back, and new wiring, plumbing, got a paint job. The armor was already on, the suspension was already on. We just refreshed it with all new parts, powder coat, hardware, and the full interior got Line-X'd. We used a Genright custom dash that we had leather wrapped. It came out pretty nice. It ties into the seats, supports the dash for all the display in the center, the AIM Sports dash. It has the shifter, switch pros that control the entire vehicle, a stereo head unit, shifters for the Atlas, a couple spots to charge your phone, accessories. It has a keyed ignition switch in the center console, and then a battery cutoff switch in the back. And then we incorporated the rear seat mount to have a fire suppression system and an amp rack, and then one single oversized Odyssey battery in the back. And then we built a mount for the air tank in the back. That's a AccuAir 5-gallon tank with an internal compressor. We still have some things to put back in. We kind of left it a little bit bare bones so that you can see things better. The seats obviously got to go back in. The Genright rack that bolts in is going to go back on. We finished the light rack that goes on the back that houses brake lights, dust lights, and work lights. And then we put a flush mount light kit in the center pillar for front and rear occupants. But overall, this thing came out pretty clean. It only has what it needs. There's no air conditioning or heater in this one. The motor is right around 700 horse. It dynoed about 440 horsepower, 480 foot-pounds of the tires on these 40-inch Mickey Thompsons, which is pretty respectable. Drivetrain loss on something like this is pretty impressive. So to get near, 450 horse out of it, that's looking pretty good. The engine bay we tried to make look as least busy as possible. The intake is flipped, it goes into the cabin. The battery ports come through the firewall. There's a single mil-spec connector on the top of the intake that joins the body to the engine. Then we built a catch can that hangs over the brake booster. That's where the valve covers run to, and the vent breather. And then on our left side is a Peterson dry sump tank for the dry sump system that this vehicle has on the bottom end. We topped it off with a Ron Davis radiator, Ron Davis tranny cooler that they built for us, fits up front, and then our oil cooler tucks down behind the winch tray. So it all packages actually really nicely. There's still plenty of room to get to everything inside this thing. And it all really tied together. We left a lot of raw aluminum accents. That's why a lot of the pieces we made are raw aluminum. The fenders are raw. The whole steering system got redone and powder coated. The axles got overhauled at Curry in a fresh powder coat. Essentially, it's hitting the road as a freshly updated. It was originally a JK Elite build from Genright, and then once he wanted to go to LS, he wanted to strip it back down to the bare chassis, and then we just went on from there, and kind of everything got touched or got hands on it. So it came out pretty clean. It moves really well. The motor has a nice power band. It cruises on the freeway. Temperatures run cool. It's about as simple as you can get build-wise without overcomplicating. If you had to add air conditioning or heater, it'd probably be a little more to it, but this one fits nicely the way it is, since there's nothing in the engine bay that doesn't need to be there. Then I guess next thing is we're gonna fire it up so you guys can hear it.